Scott Summers has stepped to the United States government on 2 separate occasions, and this issue in X-Men number 10 gives the best reason on why X-Men are not only heroes, but also revolutionaries, which means they have to cross a line. I don't know why people keep trying to play in this man's face. Let me catch you up to speed. The island of Krakoa, that was a whole mutant nation and country, that shit gone thanks to their war with Orchis, a human organization that just wanted to see mutants under the boot. During that war, this man Cyclops was locked up by Orchis, back broken, eyes stitched shut, and then put on trial in France, the same place they tried Magneto, for trumped up charges of mutant crime. After they got Orchis the fuck up out of here, Scott Summers took the United States government to court, and he won. He got a little factory that used to be a Sentinel factory in Alaska, where he now has a base of operations for the X-Men, his X-Men. We're reminded of this by Agent Lundqvist, and I know I'm probably saying this agent's name wrong. His last name looks like a bunch of high-value Scrabble letters with like 3 vowels. Lundqvist represents the Office of National Emergency, and he keeps keeping tabs on Scott Summers. And they met up over lunch, and Scott reminded him of his court case, Scott Summers versus the United States of America. This man trying to get big in Scott's face, and Scott's like, yo, you listen to me. 5 people were killed, unlawfully imprisoned. I was held, tortured, eyes sewn shut, put on a bullshit trial. And my wife was murdered, all with the permission of the United States government? Because they had an understanding with Orchis. So you goddamn right I sued the shit out of them. But me taking this factory was a settlement. Not only that, it was a favor to them, because I could have won so much more. This is Scott saying, yeah, I could have gone for more, but I'm keeping it under the radar right now. And we'll get to that why. And this agent is basically mad that Scott was out there doing X-Men shit in San Francisco, and that adventure was making him look bad, which is why he's back keeping tabs on him again, checking in. Scott Summers hears all that, but he don't give a fuck, and he tells this man, Lundqvist, whatever the fuck his Scrabble little last name is, hey, I'm gonna keep doing what the fuck I'm doing. Mind you, he's doing all this while eating french fries and a hamburger like, yeah, I'm gonna keep doing what I'm gonna fucking do. Because you don't want my X-Men to turn into my brotherhood. And he's telling this agent, I will step to the US military if I have to. Do not push me. All while handing back his agents that broke into his factory while they were having this meeting. Again, I don't know why you would play with this man. Here's what you might not know. The Xavier School for Gifted Youngsters, that was turned into a prison. Graymalkin prison now. Scott's been waiting for the right moment to attack and get people out. The Rogue wants to go in now. Scott was telling her to wait, and she was like, no, they got one of ours. They also have one of Scott's. Scott was trying to tell her, yo, let us handle this. 2 teams there, we're gonna trip over each other, and she ain't hearing this, man. They both show up, it's a bit of a mess, and they find out that Xavier's being held there. Rogue wants to free that man. Scott doesn't want that man to see the light of day. And this causes an issue between them, which I can explain in another video, but essentially Scott is basically saying, this man Xavier sold us out multiple times. I ain't letting that man walk free. And Rogue Stan says, we can't just leave him here. You know they're doing people here. Yeah. I know. I had my fucking eyes sewn shut. I know. That man Scott Summers was on lockdown for months. And when the X-Men tried to come and rescue him, Xavier's the one that fucked up the plan for that. But I'll cover more of that later in another video, because that's going to be a big contention point for a bunch of the X-Men, especially Scott and Storm. After coming back from that prison raid, Agent Lundqvist is waiting for Scott at the factory. And he basically wants Scott to hand himself over because he knows what he did at that prison. Scott Summers isn't worried. He even invites him in for a cold one. He's looking at this agent like, yo, what's the fuss about? Lundqvist tells Scott, yo, don't get cute with me, man. You damage property and you hurt employees. Which is crazy, because when Orchis was outright killing mutants and altered the life-saving drugs that Krakoa had given to America for free and framed the mutants for the poison they did to that drug, the government was quiet. But now you want to get loud. And Scott Summers hears this and it's like, all right, cool, right. August 2nd, 2002. Agent Lundqvist is like, all right, what's that supposed to mean to me? And Scott Summers informs him of the American Service Members Protection Act, the Hague Invasion, as it's known informally. And it's basically a threat given by the American president upon any United States personnel or United States allied personnel that's being held in international criminal court or imprisoned. Essentially saying, fuck all your red tape and your rules, we're gonna come get ours back. And then Scott tells Lundqvist, yo, you into Shakespeare? Our dude Beast, Hank McCoy, loves Shakespeare. We used to play pranks on him all the time when we were younger, and he always got us back in kind. 10 times worse. Every time he got that get back on us, he always quoted Shakespeare. The villainy you teach me, I will execute. And it shall go hard, but I will better the instruction. Lundqvist is like, yo, what are you talking about right now? You gonna put these cuffs on, or do I have to put them on for you? Scott Summers gets in that man's face and tells him, yo, that attack on Graymalkin, you taught us that villainy. You took one of ours, we went and got him back. Lundqvist is like, yo, you're not the United States government, though. You can't act like you are, Scott Summers. And Scott Summers tells that man, what makes you think I can't do that shit? Problem is, you've come for all of us now. Lundqvist is telling this man, yo, we got you dead to rights. What are you talking about? And he's like, yeah, you got me, but you ain't got superhumans, though. See, I just made an alliance with the Avengers. They got our back, and I noticed they ain't here. I wonder what they said to you when you asked them to come and step to us with you. And this is where we see the understanding of Scott Summers. He realizes, yo, we're in a Cold War right now. That's why he didn't take more on that settlement. Scott's not trying to make mutants a big target because everybody's all scattered everywhere. Rogue, Nightcrawler, and Wolverine, they were in Louisiana with Gambit and a bunch of new kids. Kitty Pryde and Emma Frost, they were in Chicago with a bunch of new mutants. David Alain, Miss Marvel, Wolverine, Laura Kinney, and Stepford Cuckoo, and a bunch of other mutants are all over in New York City. Scott Summers is trying to keep things under wraps, but yo, the United States government step into his property, talking about arrest on behalf of a private prison? That man talking crazy, especially because they allowed that prison to operate because it's taking care of a mutant problem for them with an understanding. Scott tells that man, yo, you pulled a knife, I pulled a chopper. And as Scott says that, Lunkovitz gets an update from the Office of National Emergency. Shit has gone awry. See, while Scott was talking to this man, he had a team go in and hit the Office of National Emergency servers and all their other important sites. That team consists of King Bedlam, Jesse Bedlam, Locust, Phantom X, and your girl Boom Boom. They're destroying their servers, they're destroying Sentinels. They are treating all these ONE sites like the car in Street Fighter where you gotta beat that shit up for a bonus. And they are getting the high score right now. And Lunkovitz believes, yo, you sent your team to do this. And Cyclops is like, my team is all here. I don't know what you're talking about. Scott told that man, yo, I told you I was past provoked, man. Now, ain't nobody gonna get killed on your side, but the property damage, ho ho ho, that shit gonna be astronomical. And I'm gonna continue to make my point. The longer you're here, your entire ONE budget's gonna have to go to repair and resupply. I know Lil Wayne says, I'm not a killer, but don't push me. Cyclops told that man, I am a killer. And this is what it looks like when you push me. And he quotes Shakespeare right back at that man, the villainy you teach me, I will execute and it will go hard, but I will be better with the instruction. Now the team going in and wrecking all that shop at ONE is called the Hellions. We ain't seen King Bedlam in a long time. And it was dope to see this team of Black and POC X-Men and Boom Boom, and I'm rocking with Boom Boom because Boom Boom's rocking with us, have a contract with Scott Summers and they're doing the dirt. And they're doing this shit with a smile, teleporting to different sites, causing havoc. Lunkovitz pulls a gun on Cyclops like, yo, call them off. You either call them off or you're taking a bullet to the brain because you just declared war. And Cyclops is telling this man, look, you ain't been hearing me. This isn't war. Not a hot one, at least. Do you hear Missy Elliott anywhere over here singing Hot Boys? You over here talking war. I'm talking mutually assured destruction. That's what happens if the X-Men goes to war with the United States government. If you dead me, if any federal agent deads me, then parts of Washington, D.C., all those branches we learn about in social studies classes, them shit's gonna cease to exist. Lunkovitz tries to call this man's bluff and Scott Summers is telling him, nah, I ain't bluffing. You don't think I planned for this? I don't have WMDs. I don't have nuclear weapons. I got mutants. Do you know what the Juggernaut can do when he's dropped from orbit? You see that dude over there, Zorn, eating a salad? That man has a whole sun in his head. And Lunkovitz tells Scott, like, yo, if you do this, that's it for the mutants. And Scott's like, maybe. If you could organize a response without a functioning government. How long till you start to succeed? How long till foreign powers see you weak and try to intervene? But like you said, I won't be around here to see it. And when Lunkovitz is like, yo, you would do all that? You would kill all those people? Cyclops tells this man, yo, this is how it fucking works. This is the brink, my friend. I'm telling you this so you can go and tell your bosses over your golf club meetings, no matter how much they want to kill me. And that man grabs the gun and puts it to his head. And I know they want to. It's not worth it. I've been ready to die for this shit since I was 14 years old. And I have done so several times over. And you try to tell me that this isn't the coldest X-Man to ever do it. And on top of all that, if any of you have me killed, my wife's gonna come for your ass. And then you're gonna deal with the Phoenix. And you already know how that go. So yeah, I will destroy every institution of this nation until you listen to me. Lunkovitz hears this and says, all right, well, I guess I'll run and tell that then. Okay. But we know this shit ain't over. And I love this issue because it's Scott Summers, man. He didn't have to take any action. I mean, he had other folks take action. But it shows that fine line and difference between hero and revolutionary when it comes to X-Men. When it comes to mutants that choose to become X-Men. This is the life that you're in. And what's funny to me on the discourse online that was about this saying, oh, this is un-American or it's too much politics and comics. To say that is to say that the American government has never been wrong. And let's talk about those times. Colonization. The only good Indian is a dead Indian, which is wild because they're not even Indians, they're natives. Slavery, you black, oh, you only 3/5 of a person. After the attack on Pearl Harbor, Executive Order 9066 that allowed the U.S. military to take West Coast Japanese Americans and move them mainland into internment camps. So it's highly possible for your American government to do wrong and be wrong. And again, this is what separates the X-Men from other heroes. Other heroes stay out here stopping petty crimes, or the occasional white-collar crime, or the supervillain that wants to take over the world. Cool, X-Men do that shit on top of fighting bigots and people and organizations that don't want them to exist. Orchis was just the latest organization that was trying to get mutants the fuck up out of here. And when they enacted that plan and fucked with the Krakoan gates and made Xavier force mutants through those gates that separated them all over the galaxy, Kitty Pryde, who couldn't go through gates before, could now suddenly go through the gates, wound up in Israel on accident in front of a bunch of Orchis members, and she had to make a choice. There was a war coming. She's the only one that can go through the gates now. If those agents there report this back to their headquarters, it gives away the biggest advantage the X-Men have for a counterattack. Kitty Pryde had to make a choice to protect that secret, and the only choice was to kill these men something nasty. Heroes say, oh, there's always another way. Not when you're fighting for the right to exist against people that believe you should not. We talk in an organization that wants to see you and your people dead, and have gone through great lengths to do so. And Kitty killed them men something fierce. Heroes fight to do good. X-Men fight for liberation. And the biggest irony is that the very last Orchis member that Kitty Pryde has to kill is telling her, yo, wait. The X-Men saved me one time, and they did. Which a lot of people had complained about, and even I was complaining about, because this dude was stuck at an Orchis station out in space and was stranded. And Cyclops was like, all right, we're gonna save them. We even saved the folks that hate us. Which is wild. And now he's sitting in front of Kitty Pryde, and she tells him, yeah, the X-Men save people, but you killed them. Then she broke that dude's neck. All because she had to keep this secret intact. And it was instrumental in freeing a bunch of mutants and taking Orchis down. Now, I'm not saying bigots can't change their mind. Yeah, they can. They can see the error of their ways. I'm just saying it's best to do that shit before the get back comes back. I don't know what dude thought it was going to be. Oh, wait, you saved my life that one time, and you're still here with these people that don't think we should live, still working with them? Should have changed your life earlier, friend. Now, over in Exceptional X-Men in Chicago, Kitty Pryde feels bad about this. It's racked her with guilt. And when the student she's training finds out that she killed people, one student, Val, who has powers similar to Kitty Pryde, is outraged. She barks off at Kitty and storms out. She's very strict on who she is and what she believes. There's right and there's wrong, and there's a line that you do not cross. And what's funny about this is Emma Frost is the one to tell Kitty Pryde, you should have told those kids what it means to be an X-Man from the jump. That was your only mistake. And Kitty's like, this really has nothing to do with them, though. Like, the whole Krakoa thing has nothing to do with them. Emma Frost is telling her, no, it has everything to do with them, because that was supposed to be for them. For young mutants to have a place where they didn't have to deal with all this stuff. They didn't have to see the ugly of the world, right? And now that's gone. Val comes around in the end, when her friends have to tell her about herself and how she always sticks up for what she believes is right, but at the expense of other people's feelings. But getting back to the root of it, we got Cyclops, who stepped to the United States government twice, threatened them even. And this man don't be saying shit he don't mean. He best represents that, yeah, there's a line you don't want to cross, but sometimes you have to do that, especially with people that don't believe you have the right to live. I'm not saying X-Men have to kill. I'm just saying that you know it's on the table because this person across the table from you doesn't want you to be here. And sometimes violence is the answer. Because if you're not willing to defend yourself, your enemy sees, oh, all I gotta do is use violence to beat them. Cool. And that's the long and short of it for the X-Men. And I like that because it really separates them from the rest of the Marvel community. I don't want them to keep going through this oppression and shit. However, I do want them to be real about it when they face these things, to best know what the situation calls for. And who better to show that example than the man that's been doing this since he was 14 years old. That's Marvel's first mutant child soldier who's still fighting the cause to this day.